I'm Calvin Austin III, wide receiver for the University of Memphis.
This is Anthony Sane from Sports 56 Mornings.
This is Rodney Williams, tight end for the Denver Broncos.
This is Tommy Haynes.
This is EJ Manuel, and you're listening to No Cap Sports.
With No Cap Sports.
And the No Cap Sports.
No Cap Sports, three of the hardest grinding brothers in the business.
So everybody, welcome back. Another episode of No Cap Sports, and we've got a special guest here for y'all today. Olympic runner, author. He's just done it all, man. Done so much, Mr. Tommy Haynes. So everybody give him a round of applause. And we're gonna jump right into the episode, man. So Tommy, you know, we all from Tennessee, all from Memphis. You from Nashville. We ain't gonna talk too bad about you being from Nashville, but we know what the best city in Tennessee is. But can you just talk to us about, you know, what it was like for you growing up, you know, 1950s, a lot of things going on in that time period. Just what was it like for you growing up?
Okay, and actually, even though I was born in the 50s, I remember mostly about the 60s because, you know, I was kind of young in those early days. But growing up in Nashville, it was actually a country town. It was best known for country music and had one nice radio station that everybody listened to, you know, around the world. But it was not like it is today. And it was very black-white. We had our black schools and our white schools. And just happened to live through the integration of that because I was one of the first classes that was integrated. And this is back in, I don't know, about 66. And for what happened, you know, they sent the blacks to the white schools and sent the whites to a black school. That was their form of integration. It wasn't so much about boundaries. So, you know, we went to a school, you know, what happens, the coaches there, because, you know, I played football and really enjoyed it. But when you go to a school and they know their people, but they don't know us coming from the hood, from the suburbs, no matter where you came from, they didn't know us. So it was kind of hard to break through in that kind of environment. You know, there was, you know, many fights after school. You know, you didn't have to pick a side. The sides was already picked. You know, sometimes you just jumped on because of your color. And so the favor was repaid, you know, paid back when our numbers outnumbered their numbers. But I think sports brought us together because when we started playing football together, we had some Filipinos, you know, a bunch of Caucasians and some good black guys. And I think the coach, they kind of mixed it up. You know, they had a black coach and a white coach working together. It kind of reminded me of some of these movies of people putting teams together. But once they actually let us compete, we did very well and, you know, got very comfortable with each other. And unfortunately, by the time I became a senior, the whites had moved out and we only had one white boy and one white girl that graduated in my graduating class.
Wow.
After we went there.
That's
So
great.
that was a transition for me. And that just kind of gives you my growing up, because I grew up basically, you know, we had a black store, we had a black bank, we had all of those. So now when I get to the time that it's time to go to college, I'm getting ready to go to a predominantly white college. And even though I live right in the backyard of Tennessee State, but my fear is that I was going to go there and be in the 13th grade because I'd be around my same friends, doing the same things. And I was kind of looking for a little bit more out of life and try to get a step up. And I don't have anything against Tennessee State. I love them to death, but it wasn't for me to go there and to excel.
So you talk about, you know what I'm saying, switching that environment, choosing MTSU over TSU. Was it kind of like always that way for you, or did you ever have like a second thought or regret, like, man, I probably should have went to TSU, or I probably should have went to anywhere else? Did that thought ever cross your mind?
Well, it never crossed my mind because I did so well my freshman year at Middle Tennessee. What crossed my mind was I should have played football. I only ran track to stay in shape for football. You know, I never in my wildest dreams would have thought track and field would have been my ticket. You know, I played on the the All-Stars, Tennessee versus Kentucky game.
Yeah, they still got that.
I'm about to say, I've been on there. I don't think Nick played, but keep going.
Yeah, there you go. And you get to see the mix of all the people, because we had a lot of people in Memphis there.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Mix, Memphis Melrose, and they had another Memphis school down there real tight. And you just get a chance to go against people that you don't know. And that's, coming up in high school, you see the same people. But once you get out and start competing those kind of sports, and that same year, I just happened to qualify for the Junior Olympics in track and field. Well, I didn't figure I'd have a chance there because I was a long jumper and a sprinter only. And I saw guys on record, they had jumps of 25 feet, they had, 24 feet. I had been 22 feet, 10 inches. So, it was no way I thought I had a chance, but I was willing to compete. Long story short, I wanted to meet. But what happened, it had a little rain and those guys started, tripping out.
Yeah.
I said, we had to train in the rain. That rain don't mean nothing. And I went 24 feet and, took the whole thing. And then that's when they turned over the track and field started recruiting me. I did get recruited by University of Tennessee in football, but I felt like I was just a number. Because number 12, come here.
You would have been a valuable number, Mr. Haynes. They treat them boys nice at UTK now.
We got a nice McDonald's bag.
Yeah, I had to look down. I had to look down and see what my number was.
Yeah.
So I said, and actually, by the time I won the Junior Olympics, I really wanted to go to Middle Tennessee then because one of my high school teammates graduated a year before I did. He went there. He's a sprinter and was doing well. And even though I was at a predominantly white school, I figured I was smarter than him, so I could make it academically.
That's just honest.
Very, yes, very much so.
Just using what I have, but the odd part about it, going there, the coach told me he's really interested in me, but he regretted to inform me that he doesn't have any scholarships. So I did the next best thing. I said, well, that means I got to work. Find me something. And I ended up being on work study. And my job was washing track clothes. But the good part about it, nobody knew I was the one washing track clothes. They just figured some peon was doing that because I was treated just like a scholarship athlete. I went to the same lunchroom and ate, same practice. So it was actually a blessing in disguise because when I doubled back to wash the track clothes, I did one or two things. I either did my homework for the next day or I got another workout. So by the time competitive season came, I was stronger than ever been, faster than ever been, and couldn't control any of it. But that would come later.
Yeah. And so one of the things I saw, when I was doing this research, kind of just talking about how you would work out, do your homework, that kind of stuff. Just where did that competitive and just determined nature come from? Was that your parents or was that something that you just had in you since you were born?
Well, actually, I have to give credit to my oldest sister. She was my first competitor. I could never beat her running. She's like a tomboy. But I could never beat her running, but she could talk smack.
What's up?
Yeah, that dog.
Yeah. One thing to be to be beaten by a girl, then the girl have to be your sister. Then the girl got a lot of mouth. I had
combination.
Everything working against me. So and so we raced a lot. And finally, it was part of my junior year in high school. We was racing up the fence and back, and I beat her. She said, "Oh no, we gotta go again." Long story short, we went up and down about 12 times, and I beat her every time. And each time it got easier because mentally I knew I could beat her. So it was one of those that once I got to that point, now I did compete in some summer programs, and saw how I was competing. And actually, before I forget it, when I got steered in the long jump, it was in a PE class, and this is early on. I was probably in the 8th grade. I was doing somersaults over a high jump bar, landing in sawdust pit. I know y'all probably don't know what sawdust pit is. Before the foam, where the high jumpers land on the nice soft foam.
Yeah.
But this was sawdust, little chunks.
Sounds ashy. Sounds ashy, for sure.
But I was jumping over it, and the guy told me, he said, in the high jump, if you could do that off of 1 foot, you'd be pretty good. He said, come over here and run down this, and you see that pitching mound there? I said, yeah. He said, jump off of that and jump in that sand. Sound pretty easy, so I ran down and did that. And he measured it, and he said, you just jumped 18.5. And I didn't know what that meant. He said, the school record for your age group is 16.5. I said, how could that be? He said, well, had you been in a meet, you would have broken the record. So I said, oh. So then I started clicking it. If I can't do nothing else, I can jump.
Yeah.
So, rather than high jump, I could just jump a short stature. Because I'm only 5'9", and the people that had to jump against, most of them are over 6 feet. But they either didn't have the speed or they didn't have the strength. They were just taller than me.
I understand. I'm
Been
5'7".
there.
We all
Yeah.
short.
Mhm.
Speak for yourself, brother. But keep going.
Yeah, speak for yourself.
Look, bro, I'm short, y'all fat. You know what I'm saying? Everybody.
Hey,
ain't
bro,
built
this
the
ain't the
same.
time. We interview this man. Did not come to get talked about.
My fault, but let me refocus. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you could always jump. You won the OVC. You were a 3-time All-American. You set the NCAA triple jump record. And then just kind of like looking back on it, you had one of the greatest coaches of all time and Coach Dean Hayes, 57 years of coach, 53 championships. So just kind of talk about just how Dean Hayes helped you become the track athlete you are, and just talk about your whole track experience at MTSU, just running through the whole OVC.
Well, I'm going to tell you about the very first meet, and it's in the book. I couldn't leave that part out. But after I'd done all this training with the work study, my very first meet, we went to Champaign, Illinois, indoor meet. And I'm wanting to impress the coach, because it's the first time out of the gate. I'm in the long jump. I come rolling down the runway. Man, I was flying. I felt good. I exploded off that board. I was way up in there, higher than I ever felt. Then it happened. My body started rotating. Well, I did what I thought anybody would do. I screamed, ah! By me screaming, everybody at the track meet's attention came to the long jump. So they came just in time to see me landing on my head, But the jump was still over 21 feet, but that's not going to get you anything. But it was more the idea of it. That particular meet, I didn't do well. I go back home. Dean Hayes, one of the greatest coaches in the world, got me on a trampoline. He said, you're stronger than you've ever been. You've got to get used to being in the air and being able to control your body. I mean, we was on a trampoline overdoing things. So it comes down to the second meet. I run down the runway, but I'm a little bit more in control knowing what had happened the first meet. I roll, I explode. This time I don't rotate. I come down, hit pretty nicely. I figured it'd be a pretty good jump. But I thought they said 20 feet, 5 inches. So I wasn't impressed. And Dean Hayes coming over doing all this stuff. He said, you don't know what you did, do you? I said, I don't know. I know I didn't land on my head. And he said, you just broke the freshman record. You went 25 feet, 10 inches. Then I started going crazy, So it was one of those, and, I kind of felt a little better, especially for the teammates who was laughing at me the previous meet, So it was nice to have that in your back pocket, which made the third meet very scary because I
live up to it.
Yeah.
And I broke the school record. So I was scared to death that meeting. Not to keep in suspense, I didn't break the school record, but I went close to 25 feet. And from that, I felt like, okay, I'm a 25-foot jumper. Now I can keep improving from that. So that's how the Dean Hayes story goes. Now my second year, Dean decides he needs to get some more points. I had never heard of the triple jump. Tennessee didn't have it when I was in school. So I go up there, but I've been training with this guy who was a 7-time All-American because he only missed his indoor freshman season. And the very first time that Dean Hayes said, I need you to try the triple jump, I go out and triple jump. And he didn't tell me what the jump was. He said, do it again. He said, I would just want to make sure you're doing it right. So I go do it again. And he measured, he said, that'll place in the conference. He said, you now have 2 events. You can do the triple jump and the long jump. And I said, oh, cool. And then I worked my way on the relay team, so I said, now I got 3 events.
Oh, wow.
That was pretty, hot shot, go to a meeting, get a chance to prance around a little bit. And relays I always liked because it didn't come all the way down on you. You got 3 other guys that got to run good.
Yeah.
And they always put me as the lead runner because I could explode out of the box. I could get them a lead early in the 4x1.
Yeah.
But it kept moving that way. and you start breaking records and it becomes expected. But 1972, I tore my ACL. And I was thinking, it's over. I got married. They said, it's really over. Next year, I had my first child. Well, he's done. You know, you can hear the rumors, you know, he's working on a bum knee and he's a jumper. He's married. Soon he's gonna be carrying a kid around on his shoulder. You know, he's not gonna be thinking about track and field. That knee was hurt in November. February, I got fourth indoors at NCAA, jumping off that bad leg. But and it was scary. The first few times I was a little timid because you know you can hurt a lot of things, but if you're a jumper, you know you hurt a knee. You know it's pretty serious. But that came through, and the only thing about getting fourth place at the time I was competing, only the top 3 people were All-Americans. I finished fourth like 3 times. I could not make that All-American. Matter of fact, I got a couple of All-American certificates behind me. I ended up getting 3 of them, but I got all those my senior year. You know, and even, you know, nowadays, if you just make the finals, you become an All-American. But it wasn't that way. You know, you go with the rules that they have at the time. And that was a tough one. But when I made it through that one, also that summer went on a missionary trip to Africa. And that was a turning point for me because it was I had a religious experience while I was down at the Dead Sea. And it brought back to memory something that had happened in college where I was walking to church by myself, walking back. And I said, God, if you're really real, you know, just show me something, give me something. And when I was over in Israel by myself, a quiet wind come back and brought me right back to that question I asked. And I haven't doubted him since. So when I started taking those steps, one step at a time, none of this was planned. Somebody asked me, did you plan to go to the Olympics? Did you plan to go in the military? Did you plan to run for mayor of a capital city? No. I take it one step at a time, and whatever the good Lord put in front of me, I try to make the best of that. Then it came my senior year. That was a very good year because, you know, I really pretty much dominated. I knew I could finish in the top 3 in just about any meet because you're going to have some meets where you just don't have it. Whether you stayed up too late, overworked, or what have you. But, you know, finished the university in great standing. One of the things that I did do my freshman year, I had won most valuable athlete of the university. At that time, I said, I got no place to go but down.
As a freshman, though?
Freshman.
Man.
But see, that was because it was unexpected. I was not on scholarship. The main people knew it, but none of the athletes knew it. You know, a guy that was only a long jumper when he came there, and now he's become, they had an article, matter of fact, it's an article in the book in the back, a picture of it, where they was talking about, and I had forgotten it. NCAA qualifies in 3 major events. Talking about the NCAA, and it was long jump, triple jump, and the 60-meter dash.
Jeez.
You know, they said it's very tough during that time to qualify in 1, but to get in 3, you know, it was a very, good time for me. And fortunately, the time at the university, I enrolled in ROTC. And you have to let me know if I'm on the time thing so I can.
No, it's all about you. It's all
Your
about
world,
you.
sir.
I was in ROTC. Now, the first, Vietnam had started before I even went to college, and it was still going on. It was mandatory that you take ROTC. Well, I took it at first because the 2 years mandatory. But I was saying, I don't want to go in nobody's army. I ain't fighting nobody. And then, so the first time I got a chance, I got out of it. But they had ingrained enough in me to say, you know what, that was a for sure job and a paycheck when I finished school. And I, only had like a 4-year obligation. I said, I can stand on my head for 4 years if I have to. And so I went back and asked them, what can I do to get back in the program? And they had to take some summer school to catch up. But ended up doing well in the ROTC department. So it was one of those when I graduated, I was going to go in the Army as a second lieutenant. and they take care of your housing and stuff. And I went up to Fort Harrison, Indiana. That's my first assignment. And it's like I was talking about, you meet people from different backgrounds. When you're in the military, it's kind of like, fraternities. Only it's like fraternities are mixed, everything. The white fraternities, black fraternities, no matter who, they were all in one
Melting
place.
pot. Yeah.
Yeah, melting pot, and they're in uniform. So it was interesting because, my father was never in the military, but my father never went to college. So when I was going to college, one thing he told me, he said, I don't know who you think you're gonna pay for it, I ain't. So I didn't have a whole bunch of motivation there. So I knew where the money was not gonna come from.
Yeah.
But then it went from there to the military. And the military, I think, is good for anybody because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I think that's the worst question that we ask kids what they want to do when they grow up. Because, most of the time as an adult, you might think you want to do something, but if that ain't your real deep desire, you'll do it for the money for a while, but it won't be as much fun, because it won't keep your interest and keep you there. So it's one of those, the military gave me a chance to try some different things because I was going to be a teacher and a coach. That's all I knew. The teachers got me through school and coaches got me through the sports. Of course, one time I thought I'd go into professional football, but since I didn't play football in college, that was out the window. Not there. It ain't like
jumping over cars and whatnot. You was a little
see, LeBron James could do that, and he, so I would just say, look guy, he can do the same thing as the other guy.
Yes, sir.
But that guy got millions of dollars. He got no money. Because track and field is not like it is today. You can actually make money. So we didn't have that. And we had a pinch of it back in the day. When we competed overseas, we got paid. But, you don't report that when you come back. They know it happened. They get paid all the time. The athletes that was in the European countries. So that's why they try to make some changes and they come up with pro track and all that. But the military was a good exposure to me because I found out that they had an all-Army track team. And I said, whoa, well, how do you apply for that? They said, well, you got to fill out your form, put in your best performances and you send it in. And if you accept it, they'll send you to training. So, I had already won the NCAA, so I said, it ain't that many NCAA.
Army, I got this.
Yeah, I enjoy filling out my paperwork. I would like to take it and hand it to him. Here you go.
Look at that number right there.
He like the Deion Sanders of military track.
Now, typically, you don't go up in rank as fast if you do some of these side shoots. They want you out there clawing in the ditches and stuff, but I wouldn't worry about rank. I still wanted to compete. So I made it on the all-Army track team and was selected captain of the team. Now, one of the things I didn't say earlier, I've been the captain of every team I've been on, high school football and track, college. And it's something people see in me that sometimes I don't see in myself because I don't volunteer for it. But I went up there, and the one good thing about being selected captain now, I got to know the Navy, the Marines, the other forces, other than the Army. And we competed, and we was in this one meet, and the top two people, if they do well, they get a chance to compete to go to the Pan American Games, which is a pretty big deal at the whole Southeast. And I got a chance to go to it, and we went to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And I'm down there, and I'm jumping, very competitive, but it's got some athletes down there. So, but I jump on one jump, and the meet stops. They bring out the tape. And I know when that happens, that's a good sign, because that's what they did when I broke the NCAA record in college. They stopped the meet, bring out the real tape. It's different.
Yeah, I've seen this one before.
Yeah, make sure he broke the record. So I broke the American record down there. And it was one of those, but what was funny about it, I broke the American record, but I got second place in the meet.
That's crazy.
A Brazilian broke the world record.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
What are the chances?
That's why I say you gotta stay humble, because you just never know. And he went on and medal in the Olympics in both the long and triple jump.
Mhm.
So, very competitive guy. And so when I came back from all of this, I'm still in the military. Now, a general officer calls me to his office. Now, I was a captain at the time, and matter of fact, I might have been a lieutenant, first lieutenant at the time. You don't get called to the general's office but a couple of times. Either it's really good or it's really bad. And I didn't know, I wasn't squeaky clean. So I didn't know if it was gonna be something come up that rose his ugly head. But he said, but Tommy, I tell you what, he said, I understand that you might have a good chance of making an Olympic team. I said, well, I just broke the American record, so I think I might have a good chance. I just had to finish in the top 3. And he said, okay. He said, well, what do you want me to do for you? I said, I don't know what you can do for me, sir, but whatever you can do, I appreciate it. He said, you can train anywhere in the world.
Gee.
Wow. Go. I said, I'd like to go to Middle Tennessee and have Dean Hayes as my coach. I want to take 2 other athletes with me because it's hell trying to train alone.
Yeah.
Now, that's true for sure.
That's facts.
But Mr. Tommy, we got to talk about your location choice.
Yeah, I would have flew Dean Hayes to South
said,
Beach.
Man, Rio de Janeiro. Come on now.
Yeah.
True to your roots, sir. True to your roots.
Rio de Janeiro was a funny part for me. I tell people that was the most exciting places I've been. But that's the first place I saw a string bikini up the butt that just had a string. Now, some of them ladies didn't need to wear that. We were young,
Man. Facts. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, it was one of those, when the general said he would send me anywhere in the world. Now, one, he didn't realize I ain't been around the world at that time. So he ain't said nothing to me, so maybe the United States, but I ain't nothing thinking about going anywhere else. And I told him I'd go, but I'd like to take 2 other guys with me. And he actually allowed me to pick the guys. And there were some all-army track guys. Al and then Rafael Dupree, one guy from California, one from Cincinnati. So we get down to Middle Tennessee and train. And because the training for the long jump for the one guy is pretty much the same kind of training. He just doesn't do as much on the triple jump side. And it was hard training. And I tell you, one meet that I went to that I talk about, Dean Hayes, talking about a great coach he was. He also got you ready mentally. I go to a meet and it's a long drive to get to Florida. And I'm in the triple jump. And I'm giving a start. Some other flights have already went. I'm in the last flight. And he comes up to me and said, he called me T-Bird. T-Bird, yeah, coach. He said, this is your last jump. I thought the sun don't got to him. I said, no, coach, I hadn't jumped yet. He said, no, I passed your other 2 jumps. You got 1 jump.
What?
Hey, your coach wild. Coach Haynes, you was, hey.
So you in a fire.
But I was saying, he said, I know physically you're able to jump far, but you got to be mentally prepared too. I said, yes, sir.
So how did that 1 jump turn out?
I won the meet.
LeBron walks off in the sunset. Come on now.
With 1 jump.
1 jump, all you needed.
Yeah.
I know everybody else felt played.
No cap. This man caught his shot at an international meet. This ain't Melrose.
Yeah, he jumped and walked off.
Yeah.
He threw a Tyreek up when he jumped.
There was some guys talking about it later on, and I was right next to him, but they didn't know I was the one that did it. Because, like I said, I look short in stature, and to look taller, when I was triple jumping, I had these long white socks that I put up to my make the stride look long.
Yeah.
So, you know all about that.
And that was a unique time there because those same 2 guys that we trained, we had many meets. And the reason I bring up about that 1 jump, when I was at the Olympic trials, you get 3 jumps to qualify for the next round. The first jump, I had a broken jump, went too high on the hop, had to come out of it. The second jump, it was perfect. I had the crowd wooing. I mean, I was out there at American record fouled by that much.
Oh, I know you ain't.
Everybody, you could hear him. Haynes about to foul out. Haynes about to foul out. Look at because some people had fouled out.
Yeah.
I just looked at Coach Haynes and said, "We got this," because I had the one jump, and I had to get back in that same mentality, give myself some grace room. Went down there and plowed 55 feet. Didn't even look back. Walked out of the pit, started waving to people.
Sheesh.
But,
Right.
And those jumps don't carry over to the next day, so you have to start all over again. They took the top 9, and it takes 3 people to make the Olympic team. And a guy named James Butts got first. I got second, and the other guy that trained with me got third.
That's amazing.
Wow.
2 out of 3.
Wow.
And the guy who was in the long jump, had he not got cocky, and he didn't want this white guy to beat him from Penn State, and he also already felt his groin muscle or his hamstring, and we kept telling him, "Man, this ain't worth it. Don't worry about it." Yeah, no, he ain't beating me. So he went out, he beat the guy, but it cost him. He had to go time with a wrap on his leg. And one thing you don't want to do is go into the Olympic trial injured, because everybody there got ability. That's not a question. Everybody got ability. Where are you mentally? If you're trying to nurse something or trying to cover up that you got an injury, it's going to show. You've got to be so much better than everybody else if you can beat them with an injury. So we made the team, and everything was going good. Now, actually, I don't even know how people would feel who didn't make the team, and I had a lot of people that didn't, that should have, because when it was over with, I had a big cloud over my head. It's almost like it's not over with. I got to keep, because you've been training.
Yeah.
And then finally you get over that, and then you report to, they tell you about getting a passport, where to meet, what day to, all your arrangements. And, we go up there, and of course you have all these people from all over, you have track and field, you could have 200 athletes, because it's 3 in each event. You got the relays. And then once you all get together, you got basketball, boxing, gymnastics, you got everybody. So they had the Olympic Village. Now, I got real close to Sugar Ray Leonard, the boxer. And I had fun with him because at the time he and I looked alike, and remind me to tell you about that later, because that comes after the Olympics.
Yeah.
But, I see people, they compete. You see some people walking around with their medals on their neck, so proud and stuff. And I'm just waiting my turn. And the long jump, they had the long jump 2 days before the triple jump. And a guy named Larry Myers, very good long jump, he hurt his foot. I think he broke his foot on a pop-up and wasn't able to compete. And I would have loved to have been able to fill in for him, because I still knew I could long jump. And I said, I could jump up at 26, 27 feet. I said, that's going to be close to a medal if not get a medal. But they don't do it like that. Your name has to be in that spot, except for the relay teams. So I go down on the track and, warm up. They said, well, the first 3 jumps, you just have to qualify. Qualified, not a problem. Then it gets to finals. The guy that trains with me, now I'm supposed to be mentally locked in. During the jump, his back goes out on him.
Wow.
And sometimes I wish I could have been that cold-hearted person that said, that's just one less athlete I got to worry about. Get your sweats and get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is a one-time opportunity. I ain't got time to be babying you. But being the person I am, that we had trained all this time together, I had to make sure I gathered up his sweat stuff and made sure he was taken care of. Then go back and try to get mentally tuned to the meet. Long story short, I got 5th place at the Olympics, missed the bronze medal by 4 inches. And I did not have typically I always have 1 or 2 jumps that just exceed, my normal. I had the best series of all the triple jumpers. All my jumps was over 55 feet, but I didn't have that one big one. If I'd just had been at a 55-10, 56, I broke the American record, 56, 5 1/4. If I'd have hit that, I'm gold medalist. So it's just one of those, And then all of a sudden, it's like that cloud I told you about again. It came back. It's over that quick.
Mm.
So then I say, well, I'll be back in 4 years. That's what I thought. Training's going well, of course. But once you make an Olympic team, you get a lot of invites to international meets and all this stuff. So I was living the life of rally. The military was paying me a paycheck. I could do track and get some extra cash.
Oh yeah.
I said I was living the life. The kids were growing up. The wife had gotten used to me, going off and coming back. She only got mad one time. And my wife and I was married for 46 years. She passed away to cancer a few years ago. But I had come back from China. I had been in China for about 10 days competing. And I came back and I had been home one day and I got a phone call. And I just said, yeah, I'll be there. And she said, who was that? I said, it was a meat promoter. She said, what do you want? I said, he wants me to compete against one of the best jumpers in the world. And she said, where is it? I said, Russia. She said, you gonna go to Russia? I said, yeah. She said, when do you leave? I said, tomorrow. And she started crying, telling me I love track more than I love her.
We know how that would go. We know how that would go.
I don't think that's it. We won Olympians though, but we fit the sentiment, I guess.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true.
Well, I told her, I said, years from now, we're gonna look back. I said, this is a one-time opportunity. I said, our marriage is gonna last as long as it lasts.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not gonna be here doing this.
I gotta write that one down.
Hey, I was just about to say, got the whole boat kept going.
City boy is up.
And sure enough, 1980 came and Jimmy Carter made the decision to boycott 1980 Olympics. And the bad part about it, I had to represent the U.S. Army athletic side to also vote to boycott. But they know that I didn't have a choice. When you're in the military, your supreme boss is the president. You can go against him if you like, and you be not in the military no more.
Yeah.
It'll be not a lot of things going against the president.
At least for me, I had something to fall back on because I had the military. That's why I was saying that was a blessing in disguise to go in the ROTC. And then after the Olympics, I go back to that same general, and he calls me in and said, I said, darn, here it goes again, but this time I know it got to be good. And he said that I got a call, they want you to come to West Point. I said, I already been to college. He said, no, silly, they want you to come there and coach. I said, I can do that and be in the Army? He said, yeah. I said, sign me up. I told you when I was coming out, I thought I was going to teach and coach. So, way I go up there and we end up in 3 years having a record of 55 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie. And I couldn't believe that 1 tie was Navy.
That's the one you don't want to have.
Oh no, that's worse than kissing your sister. It's like you don't even celebrate afterwards. Tie, just throw that trophy away. We act like it didn't happen.
Yeah, and kind of talking about that Army-Navy rivalry while we're talking about it. I know you didn't get a chance to play football in college, but are you a big fan of the Army-Navy game every year?
Well, I do try to watch it because when I was there, you can't help but get wrapped up.
Yeah.
That's such a huge thing. But I'm glad that I don't get as wrapped up as they are. But even up here in Kentucky, when I came here, because if you ain't a UK fan, like they would think these are UK colors, but if I raise up, these are actually Middle Tennessee's thing.
Yeah.
Facts.
But the big here is either University of Louisville, UK.
Mm-hmm.
Very few in between. Well, when I first moved here, I was there was a bar and a tavern and grill, they called it. And I was just talking, and I said, now who's that team one time got beat, at a buzzer beater? Well, I didn't realize it was when Duke beat UK, and I had to leave the bar.
That's because you was black, Mr. Tommy. That one.
I didn't know what it was, but I knew it was time for me to go.
Let me close my tab right now.
I apologize, but didn't look like that was helping.
Nah, they didn't want that one after that.
You gotta look both ways before you get in the car.
I knew then how serious they took basketball. So I said, okay, I won't make that same mistake again. But it's been a great, and then, no matter what I accomplished, because I came here after coaching at West Point and even retiring from the military, I started coaching in high school. Well, I was blessed enough to coach both of my daughters, and both of them on state championship teams.
They
I
got
had
that
never been
ring.
on a state championship team.
Can't relate, Mr. Tommy. Can't relate. I got 2 of them. So.
Well, and to this day, they talk about that because one of them went to U of L and finished competing, and the other one went to Kentucky State Historical Black College, and they're both doctors now.
Wow. I know you're a proud dad.
I am, and the 2 sons have done well too. One's an engineer, and the other does HVAC for the airport. But they had ups and downs. I could do a half a book on where they took me, and another book that I'm so proud of them. You go through the waves, but I said, well, that could happen to anybody, but they made it through those waves and try to find themselves.
Yeah.
And briefly, to go into the book, because you cover the book is about the new triple jump. It's the hop to the Olympics, stepped into the military, and jumped into politics.
Oh, wow.
I covered the politics part.
That's what I was hoping to get to.
Yeah, the politics part is when I came to Frankfurt. Now, I was nobody's politician. They had very few politicians of color, and I wasn't from here. Frankfurt is the capital, of the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
If you had asked me that question
UK,
before, I never would have known. I never would have known.
Yeah. And so I get convinced by 2 unlikely people, the president of Kentucky State University, and she's a black lady, and a guy who is a state representative, a white guy who used to be on the city commission. And actually, I had a sister-in-law that worked in the president's office, and she gave me the tip. She said, Tommy, I think they're getting ready to contact you about running for city commission. They're calling you Tommy Haynes. I know it's you because I heard them talking. I said, okay. So I waited till they officially, called, and I told them I'd pray about it and I would consider it. Then I had another guy that talked me into it also, and he became my campaign manager. And he had been a campaign manager for many other ones and been successful. Well, I ran the first time, and first time they take 4 city commissioners, and I got second the first time I ran, so it's good. I ran 2 other times, and I got first both times. So it's one of those. I became the mayor pro tem. If the mayor's out, you fill in.
Yeah.
But that was good. And then a period of time when my wife got sick, and she passed on. And I was blessed that she went away peacefully because she didn't want to stay with that disease. And people approached me again about running for mayor. And I had to say, well, I'm not sure, I've done that. I might want to look at doing something else, but through prayer and stuff, it's like I'm just led to do that. So got involved in running for mayor. And of course, when we started off, it was 5 people running. And in the primaries, I finished first, and another guy finished second from here, local guy. And then we was going to the general election, and things were looking pretty good. Then the pandemic hit. Actually hit a little before then. But then we were isolated. You couldn't have gatherings of more than 10 people. Now see, some people might know people that their house is big enough to put 10 on that side and 10 over here.
Yeah.
My people didn't have that. You put 10 people, you don't cover up half their house. All you do is get them in the backyard. And even the ones that had farms, still all it took was somebody to turn you in that, you got a gathering because it was real peak then. Long story short, we had a great run. I lost by 113 votes.
Wow.
And it was one of those got beat by less than 50%. It was one of those, it was 49-6, something 49-4. it was one of those crazy
Yeah.
things there, out of that many boats, but to come down, because it came down to the wire all night long, it was going back and forth. And then when that was over with, I had to concede the race, but I said, I just want to let y'all know that I got second in a 2-man race. I said, I refuse to call myself a loser.
That's
powerful.
Yeah.
Especially when, what you say, 3 other people dropped out?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems to be a common theme. You trust them, either you're going to come first or second. So I hope I had a success rate like you.
That's facts. And kind of just, talking about your involvement in the city, you know what I'm saying? You ran for mayor, was a 3-time city commissioner. Like, just how did you get so involved in Frankfurt to start off with?
Well, I think it started out by me when I coached at the schools, because, I had daughters here. And then what happens, there's a lot of boards. And, and a lot of times they're always looking to have a person of color on the boards. One time I was going to let them know that I'm not the only person of color here. That, I've got some people I know that might want to serve on this, because I was on the United Way, Red Cross, you name it, I served, Thornhill, I was on all these boards, and then I rotate off of the Senior Citizen Center, even the board that I'm currently the executive director of is called the Resource Office for Social Ministries, ROSM for short. And what they do is help people with their rent and utilities and medicine. I used to be on that board. All right.
I mean, I need some help with my rent right now. Allocate some resources to me. That would be greatly appreciated.
Well, unfortunately, maybe they have a ROSM there, because they only do Franklin County here, because everybody established their own. But it's one of those, people got to know me because I was community minded, and that kind of helped also when I was running for mayor, because I always thought my overall arching thing is to bring people together, not further separate us. And one thing that helped do that when I retired from the state working, which I didn't even cover, but that's another whole thing, but retired from that, me and 3 other African-Americans opened up a tavern and grill right downtown, smack in the middle of downtown.
Wow.
With nothing but us down there. We put chandeliers and everything. Actually, chandeliers came with the place, but they let us hold on to them.
Got a deal.
Yeah, we had a bar that was handmade by a guy in the area. Pool table upstairs, had a cook from Louisville that came up. There was a chef. It was the place. It was called The Bottom.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and people on Thursday nights, the legislators would come down. We've had the governor down because they want to know what is all the fuss about. They come down because we were some guys that we was going to do it right. I got a chance to learn all the movers and shakers. I knew all the drug pushers, and we had good bouncers and stuff. They said, we don't care what you do out there, but don't bring it in here. And they respected that because they went, most of their clients in there, they always tell them, come outside. They know that they would be put out if they came there. So it became a popular event, and then you start just meeting people from these functions. You go from one function to another. I actually boarded out because I had been asked to serve on other boards, and I just told them, said, no, I said, but tell me what you need, and I might be able to recommend some people to you. And I said, I've been there, done that. Got a T-shirt to show for it. I'm ready to do some other things. I got involved in Kiwanis, and of course, there went right up to president, then lieutenant governor of the Kentucky-Tennessee district. So it's one of those, as a matter of fact, I'll be speaking at the Kiwanis, Kentucky district, Tennessee district, that'll be in Murfreesboro in August. That's where I went to college. It's kind of funny how I full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, I guess kind of just to wrap things up, just tell us about your book, What the L, Lead, Laugh, Love. Just kind of, what do those 3 things mean to you, and what do you hope people get out of reading this book?
Well, what I've noticed, the ones that have read it, they've told me that it's very inspirational to them. Some people have brought it for their grandkids, their kids, because they said that the way you did it, they said it was non-threatening. but you talked a lot of religious stuff, but it's more of the spiritual side, not beating anybody upside the head, but it said, depend on something, you'll fall off anything. I just happen to have this that I can depend on because I know it works. And I say it worked for me. I'm one of those, I think a leader, should lead in every way he can with the abilities he has. Now I laugh at myself, but I also love everyone around me. To see, even by this interview, you all have come into my circle. Because see, I've got to write it down. I got Nick Hayes, Vance Jordan, and Josh, need your last name.
No.
His name right first, Mr.
Jordan's not
Tommy.
my last name. It's actually Laws. Jordan's my girlfriend's name. I'm sorry.
Oh, Vance, what's your last name?
Laws, Laws.
Oh, okay. Because, you never know, I might come up with book 2. And I was talking about the people that have influenced, and I got to see that young people, coming because, I've got a grandson and he does a podcast. And it's kind of funny. I think he was called No Hats, and y'all is called,
We
We gotta get the lab going. Come on now.
Yeah, we do need to collab.
Yeah.
So I said, it's an easy read too, because most of the people that, I guess someone say young, they just say, "We're glad that you had big print." They say it wasn't real tiny. And they said, and it's a pretty quick read, even though it says 23 chapters. One of the chapters is just 1 page long. The aha moment.
Yeah, I read it.
Yeah. So, it's one of those that, and tell you the truth, when I first started this book, it didn't start off as a book. It started off more as a memoir that I was going to leave for my relatives. I had people in my family that didn't know I had been to the Olympics. I had people
family?
Yeah. Not my immediate family, cousins, my wife's side. We went to a family reunion on her side, and one of the guys that got to drinking at the bar, and he came up and said, "Were you really in the Olympics?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "The real Olympics?" I said, "Well, it wasn't the Special Olympics."
We so black, we gotta say it twice for to be believable. The Olympics. Leave.
And actually, they actually pulled some stuff up online while I was sitting there, and they were showing these people at the bar. Of course, I became very popular at that bar. We was over in North Carolina, Hilton Head. And I said, it's just amazing. But of all the things I've done since the Olympics, it stands out by far. Even if I'd been the mayor, I'd have been in some book somewhere, but it'd be in the library. Nobody really, they didn't get that kind of.
You keep it real, Mr. Tommy. We appreciate that.
And that about wraps it up, because I really was writing it for them. And even they have, we just came back from Gatlinburg this weekend. And even my kids wanted to autograph copy of the book.
They wanted your autograph?
Yeah. I said, well, that came out of nowhere.
Thanks.
Now the grandkids could care less than the flip. But my oldest daughter, who has a medical practice in Florida, when she was younger, she said she thought everybody did that. You run track in high school, you run in college, you run in the Olympics. That's just until she started running.
Play basketball, high school, college, NBA. That's how that works.
Everybody can't be like LeBron. So I'll skip college. It's going.
Not everybody can be like Tommy Haynes either. That's facts. But I would wrap this up, but I just thought about something. You told us you had a story about Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah,
we got to hear that story before we end the episode.
Yeah. After the Olympics, we got all caught the bus, the Olympians, down to Washington, D.C. Now, I get off the bus, everybody got off, and all of a sudden, some security people say, I need you to come go with us. I'm thinking, did somebody put something in my bag? Why I'm being pulled away from the group? And I go inside, and they take me to a side door. The other athletes are going, all these athletes, and I'm going the back way. And I get up into the top, and then he had said something that made me realize that he thought I was Sugar Ray. And I said, now you realize I'm not Sugar Ray Leonard. He said, what? I said, "No." I said, but I know him. I can go get him for you. He said, no, you stay right here. And they had, had these other
Stay in
people,
character.
had these other people to watch me, even back then, they didn't want to say, wanted to get out that we all look alike. But actually
Understood.
one of the pictures in the back of the book actually had me and Sugar Ray Leonard right next to each other. And I had to, I don't know if you've been to see it on the thing, but
Oh, y'all twins for sure.
Yeah.
Y'all twins for
I
sure.
understand the confusion.
nah. But we had the same little fro. We were about the same height, about the same weight. I might have weighed a little bit more than he did. But to have that happen to you, I said, yeah, even at the White House. And that was long before even Obama was thought about.
You mentioned Sugar Ray Robertson. I have a question about you. You wrote about Muhammad Ali in the book. What was that meeting like?
Yeah, Muhammad Ali sponsored meets out in California, and I had been out to meet, and I had won. I was winning my third Muhammad Ali TV. And they had these little TVs back in the day, and the guy, and I just told one of the guys, I said, look, I said, I won this thing. This is my third year. I said, you can keep the TV. And I said, I have a request. He said, what's that? I said, I want to meet the champ. He said, you really want to do that? I said, that's what I want to do. So
Hold on, Mr. Haynes, hold on. No way he won the event so many times. He's like, I need my own award. How you do that?
That's right.
That is gangster.
Yeah, because after a while, you bring a TV home, the little bit of TV that's nice at first. They have first place on it and all that. After a while, they're in the way. That's like if you win up over a lot of trophies, my kids took my trophies apart and put track people on football things and vice versa.
Oh, no.
Little people on big trophies and big people on little trophies.
He got his trophy case a Lego room now.
Oh,
So, all that stuff's going to go away, but at the time, I was honored that he allowed me to come over and talk with me, and he talked down to earth. He said, I wish I wasn't here. He said, I'm tired, because, I ain't going to go and tell nobody. He said, go and sport. Muhammad Ali said, he tired of y'all butt. He wish he was out of here. I could have had him wow me, but that's not something that we did in those days. We were so proud of him that, just to get a chance to talk with him was a pleasure. And since you brought them up, I had to bring up the other two. Now, Wilma Rudolph, she went to Tennessee State, a Tiger Bell. So I've always read about it, heard about it. She surprised me at the Olympic Games and came to have lunch with me.
Wow.
But, but I didn't know it was her when she tapped me on the shoulder and said, man, if I join her, whoever, I was going to say, sure. It was a female voice. I've been away from home a long time. I can at least hear your voice.
When you playing with them?
Hey, being honest.
I'm just saying.
Thanks.
And she sat down, and of course, I had to hold the enthusiasm down, saying, dang. But Wilma Rudolph.
That's the least, that's the best word you could have used in that moment. Dang.
Yeah. And then, of course, the last one was Jesse Owens. And, I just idolized him because he was beyond, way before his time. He's back in the 30s doing things that people are doing during my time. And he had a lot more to lose and did lose a lot, but he won the golds. But, just hearing his story, and then seeing that he's just such a down-to-earth person, that's when you realize, what? Sometimes we put people on pedestals too high, and we need to just be with that right there with them. Sometimes they just need somebody to talk to. Because sometimes they're so high up there that nobody wants to talk to them because they think they can't talk to them. And I was just glad to get those opportunities. And now I relish the opportunity. I can talk to a brick wall. I've been told that. They say you can talk to a brick wall. Some people don't listen no more than a brick wall do anyway. So
that's how a lot of people are nowadays. Brick walls, walking around big walls.
Yeah, get you some practice.
Yeah, and I'm sure you can make a brick wall laugh too, because we done definitely enjoyed this conversation for real.
Or
Man,
jump over it,
wait.
honestly.
Oh,
That
thank you.
too.
Well, actually, early on, I used to.
I'm about to say, no way he jumped over a brick wall.
No, you just made me think of something. A long time ago, I wanted to be a religious comedian, but I couldn't get him to work, for me during the time. I had people cracking up at church all the time. I don't even be trying to be funny. I be telling them straight stuff and they falling out laughing.
It's just the personality. Part of the culture, really. Part of the culture.
Well, I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah. And we appreciate
you being here, sir.
Yeah, a lot. Cause like definitely you up there on the list of people we done interviewed. You got a lot of clout behind your name, and definitely I'm gonna encourage everybody to check out your book. I done read a couple of chapters. I've enjoyed it. Vance has read it. He's enjoyed it. I don't know what Josh has done because
Hey, my man, first week of school, girl. Come on now. Let me breathe.
That's what you get for coming on signing on last.
Not a mayor talking cash to me. Jesus.
But yeah, we appreciate it. And
Thank
yet
you.
again, make sure y'all check out this book. Make sure y'all subscribe to the pod. We got a lot of stuff coming for y'all. And we out of here.